This is your daily election show. I am Vikram Chandra, and today we're going to be discussing the exit polls, which, if they are correct, mean another 5 years for Narendra Modi as Prime Minister. Now, exit polls have sometimes gone wrong in the past, but the broad direction of these seems to be pointing in one way. I'm going to analyze the exit polls a little bit to try and identify the specific states that we need to keep our eyes on when counting day rolls around on the 23rd of May. But before I do that, let's take a quick look at the major election-related stories today in Election Digest.
With most exit polls predicting a BJP win, the Saffron Party's chief Amit Shah is set to convene a meeting of the NDA partners on May 21st, ahead of the poll results on May 23rd, reports say. Shah is likely to host a dinner for the NDA leaders to chalk out alliances. The Union Council of Ministers is also likely to meet the same day.
The BSP on Monday clarified that its chief Mayawati would not be holding any meetings with opposition leaders in the national capital today. Reports had surfaced on Sunday that the former UP Chief Minister was scheduled to meet UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi and Congress chief Rahul Gandhi. The meeting was being seen as an effort to push for an anti-NDA bloc ahead of the Lok Sabha election results on May 23rd. The two sides were being brought together by Andhra Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. But exit poll predictions seem to have dampened the opposition's spirit.
A day after exit polls predicted a thumping victory for the BJP-led NDA, hectic parleys are being seen in the opposition camp. Andhra Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, who has been at the forefront of the efforts to cobble together an opposition alliance, will meet his West Bengal counterpart Mamata Banerjee apart from other regional leaders. The meeting is the latest amid a series of similar interactions the Andhra Chief Minister has had with leaders such as Congress Chief Rahul Gandhi, BSP Supremo Mayawati and SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav. A day after exit polls predicted BJP making good gains in West Bengal, BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav has said that West Bengal will surprise all politics watchers on May 23rd. Madhav claimed that what UP was in 2014, West Bengal will be in 2019.
Everybody has seen the tremendous outpouring of support for Prime Minister Modi and BJP in Bengal this time. I would again repeat it, that what Uttar Pradesh was to us in 2014, Bengal will be in 2019.
As exit polls predicted a sweep for the BJP-led NDA, one disgruntled ally believes that the surveys are wrong. Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and leader of the AIADMK, E. Palaniswamy, has called the exit polls a lie after they predicted a DMK sweep in the state. EPS went on to claim that the ruling AIADMK will sweep all the seats in Tamil Nadu and win in Puducherry.
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu on Sunday mocked the exit polls, saying that they were not exact polls. Exit polls do not mean exact polls, we have to understand that. Since 1999, most of the exit polls have gone wrong, the Vice President pointed out. Naidu addressed an informal meeting of well-wishers in Guntur. Referring to the ongoing general elections, he said every party exuded confidence over victory.
Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has said he feels the need to bring in a law to regulate news channels, as he feels they belittle politicians on their satire programs. What do you think of politicians? You think we're jobless? Do we look like cartoon characters to you? Kumaraswamy asked the channels, adding that he felt the need to bring in a law.
Okay, I want to get into analyzing the exit polls in some detail, but before I do that, the big news of the day perhaps was that massive surge we saw in the stock markets after the exit polls. People very happy apparently in the markets with the fact that the exit polls are seeing a comfortable NDA victory, so the stock market surged. Well, Mithali joins us now for a lot more on that. What happened in the stock markets and what are they expecting going forward?
What a phenomenal kickoff to the trading week. We know the market's been looking for continuity, and given what the exit polls suggested, the market voted with its hands today and we saw a phenomenal rally. Not just that, what was breathtaking about it was the consistency and the broad-based nature of trade today. So you had the major indices closing with their biggest gains in 6 years. The backbone of the market's move has to be the banks, and I think that was what was really standing out in trade today. The BankX actually produced a 1,000-point rally for itself, just to give you an indication of what's happening with the strongest pillar in trade and how that was moving through today's trading session. Can we move more? I think that's the big question, and the answer frankly is yes. In the last month, the market has been quite flat. It's also seen sharp outflows from the FII side, in part to do with what's happened with global tension. So if that reverts, or if that comes back, there could be much more juice in the market, as indeed in the currency, and I think that's something people are watching as well, what happens with the Indian rupee. Separate from that, the domestic mutual funds have raised their cash levels. There could be a little bit more deployed from that side, but I think for me the big sparks will fly on the 23rd in the mid-cap universe. That's where trader sentiment is high. That's the space that's been a little bit squeezed under, and I think that's where you're going to see a lot of big gains coming in through this week. Does this mean it's the start of a big bull market is the other question a lot of people are asking. In the short term, it well may be. There could be a lot that sentiment can do to take this market higher. Remember, it's been a bit clamped down in terms of the bad news. At some point, the tide will turn. The bigger questions will be asked. What's happening with the macros? The mess that we have in terms of the fiscal deficit, as indeed the poor earnings growth that we have seen so far. But I think those questions are something the market will leave for later. The next few days we could tread a bit of water and then wait for the big ticket event, which is on Thursday and is the elections. For today though, I think a lot of traders are sitting back and just soaking in what's been a standout session for us.
Now, the promised analysis of the exit polls. Now, the big picture, very clear. They all seem to be saying the NDA is coming back to power. Most of them, with one or maybe two exceptions, are saying it's an absolute majority for the NDA, so no alliances and allies are needed from outside. At least a couple of the polls are saying that the BJP will get a majority by itself. And here are the numbers. Some of those numbers, Axis My India in particular, 339 to 365. Today's Chanakya, very, very landslide victories there for the BJP and the NDA. Now, I just want to go into individual states, because if you take a look at it, there's an interesting picture here. There are some states for which virtually every exit poll is unanimous. They are all saying the same thing, pointing in the same direction. And then there are some crucial exit polls that are giving divergent pictures. And the reason why you're having that variation in the national picture is because of this specific difference. Let's now take a look at the states on which there seem to be a certain amount of unanimity among the exit polls. Maharashtra, first of all, poll saying 37 for the BJP, 7 for the Congress NCP, and all of them are somewhere in around that range. Bihar next, and if you take a look at Bihar, with one exception, I think NewsX data, just about all of the polls are saying it's a very comfortable victory for the BJP in that entire Mahagathbandhan didn't work. Polls saying 30. Madhya Pradesh, a state which the Congress had won in the assembly elections, polls saying 24 to the BJP, 5 to the Congress, and virtually all of them in the same direction. Once again, NewsX Neta, the slight outlier out here. Karnataka, really interesting state. ABP Nielsen is saying it's neck and neck, as is NewsX Neta to some extent. But most of the others are saying that the BJP is really getting a pretty comfortable victory out here. Polls, in fact, 20 for the BJP in Karnataka. Bit of a surprise considering this is one of the places where the Congress may have thought its alliance with the JDS would work well. Rajasthan next, another state which the Congress party had won in the assembly election just a few months back. Republic and Sea Voter, all of them seem to be giving 20, 22, thereabouts for the BJP. NewsX Neta again a little on the lower side, Nielsen saying 19 and 6 to the Congress, but by and large, polls 21 for the BJP, 4 for the Congress. Gujarat, just about every single opinion poll saying very comfortable victory for the BJP. It's about 24, therefore, polls saying for the BJP, 2 for the Congress. All of those big states, important states, most of the exit polls saying the same thing. And in all of these cases, they're saying it's the BJP and its allies who are not just going to win, but win really comfortably, landslide victories in all of these areas. Many of these are fortresses that the BJP had won in 2014, holding on to that. For the Congress, a couple of states where there's good news, where again there is unanimity, and this, by the way, in a rather bleak picture around the country. Punjab, virtually every exit poll with the exception, I think, of Chanakya, saying that the Congress is going to have about an 8-4 is what the polls are saying. And in Kerala, maybe there's one or two exceptions, but by and large, UDF likely to win 14-5 is what the polls is saying. So now, where is the question when you start watching the editorji show, and the largest ever digital-only show on the 23rd morning, as I'm sure you will, either on editorji or on Airtel or Twitter or Hindustan Times or any of our partners? What is the one question that you should be looking for? Well, for starters, open up Uttar Pradesh. Open up Uttar Pradesh, keep looking at Uttar Pradesh all through the day, because whatever the story is in Uttar Pradesh, it's not done and dusted. You know those numbers that we saw, 350 for the NDA, it's all based on the sort of numbers that today's Chanakya, Access, News 18 Ipsos are giving to the BJP. 60 plus, 65, Access actually goes all the way up to 68, similar to 2014. Down, but big win for the BJP. That happens, it's probably a BJP majority on its own, because remember, Uttar Pradesh is BJP, there are no allies. If the BJP ends up getting 60 plus in Uttar Pradesh, may well have a majority on its own, depending on what it drops in other places, but that's what's likely. But there are a couple of important opinion polls which are not saying that. ABP Nielsen says BJP is going to do shockingly badly, 22, that's a drop of 50 from last time. ABP Nielsen, NewsX Neta, they're also saying a similar sort of a figure, and Anthro AI had come up with a figure of 21. If any of these are correct, that's a drop of 50 for the BJP in the state of Uttar Pradesh. If that happens, then it's up in the air whether the BJP gets a majority of its own. May still be an NDA government, probably certainly will still be an NDA government, but the BJP may not have a majority on its own, and we'll have to see just what the requirement from allies is going to be. So that's one state which is open in the air. So there's a poll of polls which is saying 49 for the BJP and 29 for the Mahagathbandhan, but lots of stories hidden in that. The second state, which obviously you should look at very closely, is West Bengal. Poll of polls may be saying 23 for the Trinamool and 14 for the BJP. That's what a poll of polls is going to say. But there's a lot of details hidden in there. At one extent, you have News 18, which is saying the Trinamool is sweeping West Bengal. On the other hand, you have some polls like India Today, Access My India, or Republic Jan Ki Baat, which are saying that the BJP is going to beat the Trinamool. Beat the Trinamool in West Bengal. If that happens, it'll be a political earthquake, the ramifications of which will go far, not just in this election, but also beyond. So West Bengal, that second big state, you must keep your eye on the 23rd morning. The third state, again, for what it possibly means, is Odisha, where, again, if we were to look at the overall poll of polls, it's actually pointing to the fact that the BJP is going to beat the Biju Janata Dal for the first time out here. May have an interesting ramification, by the way, for the assembly elections also. Will Naveen Patnaik get another term there? I'm not sure. Mixed picture on Odisha. So three states, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha. Three states where it is not yet clear what's going to happen. Watch these states on the 23rd morning, and all of these affect the BJP's tally. Now, what does this mean? If the BJP's tally in all three of these states is at the lower end of some of the forecasts, then it could mean that the BJP is short of a majority on its own. It will therefore need its NDA and other allies. Really well short on all of these and bad things happening, may need an ally here or two elsewhere, but that of course we'll have to wait and see. So two other states where the exit polls have not given a very clear verdict, and that does affect what's happening with the allies. So Tamil Nadu, for one, where some of the exit polls are saying it's going to be the traditional landslide. Today's Chanakya, 31 for the DMK. India Today, Access My India, 34 to 38 for the DMK. So that's the traditional landslide in Tamil Nadu scenario. Republic C voters saying something similar, so it's Times Now, so on and so forth. But there are some, at least, like News 18 Ipsos, which are saying it's going to be closer. AIADMK is still going to get 14 to 16 seats. That may be interesting if allies are ever required. And finally, one more state I want to talk about, an interesting state where the picture is still not clear after those exit polls, is Andhra Pradesh, where at least some of the exit polls, today's Chanakya, for example, one or two others are saying TDP actually may do really well out here. News 18 Ipsos also gives them 10 to 12. Republic Jan Ki Baat gives them 8 to 12. That means the TDP might not do as badly as is being expected. Republic C voter gives them again more seats than the YSRCP. So like Odisha, this also has a bearing on what happens in the state elections. Look, these are all the exit polls. That's our basic yarn interpreting the exit polls for you, identifying 5 states to really keep our eyes on the 23rd. But do remember to watch that show on the 23rd to really figure out what's happening. You're going to be seeing it, as I said, on Airtel TV. Download the editorji app. Do keep track of everything that happens on counting day. Bye for now.